Let's get started. We are going to be doing a push workout today, upper body push specifically. We're going to start with some incline bench press, all right? So as you can see here, I got my incline bench. It's an adjustable bench. I've got it set on like the 45-degree setting. For me, if I'm going flat, it's the third. So flat, half, about 60 degrees, and then we got 45 degrees. So it's about the third little notch up. But you want to think about 45 degrees. Obviously, you don't want it straight up, but you don't want it flat back. If at any point in time this starts to bother your shoulders, lower the bench a little bit on the incline. Don't raise it. That's going to take more shoulders. The lower you go, the more your chest will get involved. This kind of puts it into a nice middle position, so you get that upper part of your chest real good. All right. So we've got our bench set. What I'm going to do here, so I'm going to take the same grip I would if I were doing a regular bench press, okay? The difference is here, the barbell is lined up with my eyes, all right? Whereas normally I would want that more lined up with like the top of my chest if I'm doing a flat bench. It's lined up with my eyes. And the reason for that is because when I'm down and I'm pulling the bar towards my chest, I'm not pushing straight out. I'm actually kind of going back a little bit, right? So the bar should feel like it's even with my eyes, and it should be kind of going on this like angular pattern, or at least should feel that way. So if I'm going through and I'm bringing it down where it's like kind of coming towards my chin. Obviously don't hit your chin. And then I'm pressing up. The bar feels like it's on an angle, or moving on an angle, and we're pressing up. Down towards the chin and pressing up. One of the things I don't recommend is dropping it all the way down to your chest. This puts a big time amount of strain on the front of the shoulder, that front delt area, right? So if you have shoulder pain, you're gonna feel it big time in this spot. Plus, the heavier you go, the harder it gets. So you want to think bringing it down to right about chin level and then pressing up. Chin and pressing up. It's maybe an inch or so from my chest, and then we're pressing up through there. As you're coming up to the top, make sure you're squeezing so you feel the little extra push there on the inside of the chest here. You should feel this whole thing right across the top here. Whereas a bench press gets the entire chest, this is getting more of the upper chest. It's going to give you that thicker chest look. It's also going to help those front delts. But again, don't go all the way down to the bar touching your chest. You know, find it to where you're still in control, right? You're not dropping the bar and then pressing it so that it's over your eyes, not straight out. So that is the incline bench press. Next, we're going to go to a alternate arm dumbbell bench press. I'll be right back with that one. Okay, the alternate arm dumbbell bench press. It's your basic regular dumbbell bench press, but we're alternating arms. You'll see different variations of this. Some variations have you holding the dumbbell starting here and up and then switch. I prefer going up. This way the pec, especially that pec minor area, all this area up in the little parts of the shoulder are engaged. It's creating that stability through the shoulder joint. If I wanted to create shoulder stability in the back of my arm, I could do that. But I like doing it up front here. This is more of a problem area for me than back here. So by setting it up here, I am allowing myself to build more stability in the front of my chest, which is exactly what I want to be doing on this particular exercise. So we'll take our dumbbells, all right, and we start with them in the up position, okay? Take the same position you would as a dumbbell press, and now all we're going to do is we're going to lower, bring it up, and switch to the other side. Now you can do all 10 on one side and then switch. That would still count as alternating, but I recommend the alternate switch as you're getting started. If you feel more comfortable and you want to get more stability, you can do the hold, but that's entirely up to you as to how you want to go about doing that. And there's your alternate arm dumbbell press. And then the next exercise, which you're just going to swing right into, is the Arnold press. And I love the Arnold press. The Arnold press is a great way to build shoulder mobility as well as rotator cuff stability. All right, so you're going to take your dumbbells and you're going to hold them in front of you, okay? Palms even with the tops of your shoulders, palms facing you, okay? And what you're going to do, if I'm doing it in slow motion, is rotate out and press up. Bring it back down and rotate back in. So you can't go super heavy with an Arnold press because you do not want to mess up your rotator cuffs. But if I'm doing it a little bit quicker, it's almost like I'm doing like a swinging motion, right? If you look at it from the side, bring my arms out to like almost like a regular shoulder press. But this gets the full range of motion of the shoulder. And it is very much a feel-good exercise for the shoulders. Again, this is one to help you build mobility, stability, and strength. It is not one for you to go super heavy on. You're rarely going to see Arnold presses where you're doing like super heavy reps. Yes, you can obviously, but because of this motion here, you're getting your rotator cuff involved. You don't want to mess with that. Keep it to a degree that you can control normally. Even if the press is a little bit on the lighter side, remember, this motion is where you want to be in control. You don't want to be flopping and wiggling all over the place. That's how injuries happen. All right, moving on to the next exercise. Next up, we have the band rear delt fly. So we're going to be using the resistance band. You can use a cable machine. You would use it in a similar manner. You would just grab some D handles and be doing it the way I'm going to demonstrate. But I like it with the resistance bands as it kind of feels better, controls it better. I can even do this without having it on the rope, the hook here. I mean, it's just as simple as a pull apart. All right, but we're going to change it up a little bit, okay? So one of the things I want you to remember as you're holding on to the band here is palms are going to be facing down, and you're going to tilt your elbows up, okay? So it's going to feel a little funky. But my palms are down, all right? As you can see, palms are down. I'm going to angle my elbows up with a little bend, and I'm going to pull. The objective is to drive the elbows back and really focus on that rear delt. All right, so you want to be feeling it right up in here and a little bit up in this area too. Obviously, we're going to get some trap in there. But if we look at it from the back here, right, I'm really squeezing that upper back and driving those elbows backwards, trying to keep them level. And you will feel this in this upper back, upper delt, upper shoulder area. All right, so that's your rear delt fly. You want to make sure you're feeling it right back in here, a little bit in the shoulder joint as well, but you'll definitely feel it in this area back in here. And that's exactly what we want. All right, 2 exercises left in our push workout. We're going to do tricep push downs. Okay, I've got a rope attachment. All right, I recommend the rope attachment. It gives you that neutral grip with your wrists, and you get a little extra flare out at the bottom, so you get a little bit more pinch in the triceps. All right, especially this delicate little soft under part. I like getting a little flare there. One of the things that I prefer doing with the push downs, instead of standing straight up and just kind of muscling through, I'm gonna bring my abs in. All right, so now my core is engaged, and I'm gonna roll my shoulders back. I don't want to be like this. If anything, I'm bracing through the core, so my abs, my core is engaged. All right, roll the shoulders down and back, core engaged, and now we get that little flare. As you're pressing down, right, you're rotating and pressing the wrists away, gets the forearm, gets that little extra push in the tricep. And that's why I like the rope attachment. pretty simple. It's more of a it's more of a push and away than it is just a press down. If you start getting tired and you're keeping your hands in there, that's okay. As long as you get that little flick there, you're still going to get that extra part. I expect that to happen, right? But I'm not shrugging. It looks like I am, but I can still move my head pretty good. So if you're shrugging and you can't move your head, then we're a little bit too tight. Core, down, press. All right, hope that makes sense. What I want to do real quick is I want to show you an alternative way to do the rope push down if you're working out at home and all you have is a resistance. Okay, so if you're working out at home and you're using a resistance band, now I've got this hung around a hook. You can hang this on your squat rack, on a door frame, whatever it is that you're going to be using. And I doubled up the band here, right? So I looped it over. If you don't have that, that's okay. You'll want to use the handles. If you don't have handles, if you're using it, just press down that way. All right, so here, okay, same thing. Roll the shoulders down and back, engage the core and push, and that's it. And you could press away, but because the handle is flat, you're going to be pushing down a little bit more, but that's okay. You can still get that little flare out because it's not attached like a regular bar would be. Want to make it harder? Kneel. Now you really got to use your core. And if you just don't have a lot of distance between the height of the bar and the bands here, it'll add a little bit more tension. So it gives you a little extra challenge. But this is the at-home version of a cable push down. All right, the last exercise we've got is a skull crusher. Now I'm going to show you two different ways to do a skull crusher. Typically, we're going to use the easy bar, right? You're going to hold it on the inside grip, closer to your head with the little swing part down. All right. Again, roll the shoulders down the back. This gets the shoulder blades engaged and they should be pressing into the bench. All right, I got my feet out with a little press here of my heels into the ground, kind of like I'm doing a bench press. This just gives me a lot of stability through my whole body. So even if I'm doing these heavy, or if I'm doing them on the lighter side, I feel stable, right? If I'm loose, I don't want to actually crush my skull on skull crunchers. So the more stability I can add, the better. From a compound lift point of view for a smaller muscle like the tricep, the skull crusher gets pretty close to what we're looking for. So again, shoulders down and back, and I'm hinging at the elbow, coming down to just above my forehead and pressing up. A little extension to get a little elbow in there. All right, if that bothers you, that lockout part that I'm doing at the top, you can just kind of not do it, right? It's not going to make or break the exercise. It just reduces pain, and ultimately we want to do that. Now, if you don't have an easy bar, you could do these with dumbbells. In this case, what you're going to do is you're going to hold with a neutral grip, all right? You don't want to be doing it this way. That puts a lot of strain on the elbow, a lot of strain on the forearm turn, all right? Neutral grip, same thing, except now you're coming down, you're bringing the tip of the dumbbell towards your ears, and otherwise it's the same motion. It's a skull crusher with dumbbells. Depending on the size of the dumbbell, you want to make sure that you can get the dumbbell between your head. You are, again, not actually trying to crush your forehead. Let the elbows move as they want to, meaning don't try to squeeze them in or anything along those lines. As we're not trying to fight the way our body moves, we're trying to move with our body and direct it. So as you can see, my elbows have a tendency to flare out. If I bring them in here, this puts a lot of strain on my shoulders. So no matter if it's the barbell or if it's the dumbbell, let the elbows do what they're going to do. Obviously, we don't want them flaring out. But in this position here, this is a natural way for me to move. If I try to get my elbows squeezed in here, will I get more tricep? Probably, but I can feel a pinch right in here. I don't want that, and I can feel a lot of pull on the shoulder itself. Maybe as I work on my shoulder mobility, things along those lines, that'll be able to happen. But for now, I'm just working with my body. Don't be afraid to work with your body where it's at. If there's any issues going on or you notice any pain, stop immediately. Let me know, and I will help you with any kind of correctional exercise that needs to happen. But that is our push day workout. Go about and do a good stretch afterwards. If you need any tips on stretching, I have some more on my YouTube page. But that is push day, and I hope that you all have a great one. Thank you for tuning in.